Good morning, friends. Happy Saturday. Today we'll be reflecting on Matthew 18:21 through 35. And this passage is all about forgiveness and how many times we're called to forgive. And I couldn't help laughing as I was reflecting on this passage because I'm sure in biblical times it was acceptable, to forgive once and to move on. And by this time, Peter has spent some time with the Lord, so he knows that Jesus does things a little bit differently. So I imagine him being like, hey boys, watch this, like I totally got it. And be like, Lord, how many times are we called to forgive? Not just once, 7 times, right? Probably expecting the Lord to be like, wow, Peter, you're really getting this. But instead the Lord responds 77 times. And in today's Christ in Our Neighborhood reflection, it says 7 in the Jewish culture is a perfect number. In other words, Peter asks, am I to forgive infinitely? And Jesus responds with 77 times or beyond infinitely. And for me, that's just such a reminder of what a high call it is to live the Christian life. Not only are we called to be so forgiving, but we're called to this reality in other ways as well. And it's so challenging because, at least for me, right, in our humanity, I don't even think the Lord was saying, if someone offends you 77 times, you're called to forgive them 77 times. Sometimes someone offends me once and it takes me 77 times to forgive them. I'm like, all right, Lord, I forgive them. And then 2 minutes later, I'm like, but why did they do that? But yeah, I think at the same time, that's our call though. And so I think what really stuck out to me was that in this story, the servant had a debt that said he had no way of paying it back. Not that he didn't have the energy or the time. He was literally incapable. And it wasn't just affecting him. It was impacting his wife, his children, his property. Literally everything he cared about would be lost. He needed a savior. And so I think this reading is such an invitation to reflect on the fact that without grace, we can't forgive over and over. Without grace, we can't respond to this high Christian call. Like, we also need help. We need a savior. But what really stuck out to me too is that, in this story, the servant kneels down before his master and says, please be patient with me and I'll try to do it. I'll try to pay my debt. But the good news is that we have a savior that we can kneel before, and we do say, please be patient with me. But we can also say, please help me because I can't do it. And the Lord will always respond in generosity. He will always come to our aid, even if it's the 77th time we've asked him for help today. So that's all I got today, friends. I hope you have a great week, and I will see you next Saturday.